So this is the next video in the bipolar films, and this one is all about mindfulness. So I've just done a film all about panic attacks, and I've mentioned a few times about how mindfulness and yoga has been really kind of instrumental in the healing process for someone like me with bipolar. But mindfulness and yoga would be amazing for any kind of mental health problem that you might have, or disorder, or even for people that don't have any issues like that. It's just brilliant for life in general. So where shall I start? So I found out about this mindfulness course actually in the mental health hospital, and Mark Williams is the guy who specifically deals with mental health and mindfulness at Oxford University, and he seems pretty inspirational. And I watched a video of him on YouTube recently. He talks very clearly, and he's very obviously the kind of man that does meditation every single day of his life as well. You can tell he talks extremely calmly and everything. So he's, yeah, an inspiration. So anyway, just to put you in the picture, I've been doing yoga since I was 13. I'm now nearly 36. And I started doing meditation when I was 15 years old, with my Walkman in my ears, lying down in my bed when I was feeling stressful around the times of starting your GCSEs and all that. And I had some amazing experiences where I would just feel like I'm floating, kind of just really calmed me down and zoned me out in a way that I think I needed at the time, because I wasn't in a good place mentally. I was stressed. I was probably pretty depressed. Not that anyone else realised, because I was very good at seeming happy and normal and confident, optimistic Joe. But when I was on my own, in my bed, especially going to sleep at night, there were a lot of times when I wasn't feeling happy or good about my life, and that was a really nice way for me just to, I don't know, be in this other place that just seemed really calm and happy and just, I don't know, coming back to me, I suppose. But yeah, mindfulness when you're actually coming out of an episode is really different. So yeah, I went on this course, and there were lots of other people there with different issues. I don't know what they were specifically, but lots of them have trouble with wanting to just commit suicide every day, or like probably much more serious than me. And I'd already had a toolkit, because I'd done half of my yoga teacher training course when I was in the mindfulness sessions, so I knew a lot about yoga, and I'd been practicing a lot, like every day and for years. And I was like, yeah, bring it on. And we would do these charts and talking about depression, spiralling down, and how to get yourself up and out. Yeah, we'd sit there and they would talk us through the breath. We'd do some mindfulness walking. They gave us a CD where we'd try things at home, and we'd do a little bit of kind of yoga postures that were really mindful, and we'd lie down and they'd talk us through these mindfulness things, and I remember they said, okay, if there's one thing in your day that you can start with, that you could be really mindful with, what would you choose? And we all went round and chose something. So for me it was brushing my teeth, because that's something I always do in the morning, and it's nice to start like that. So I would be standing there, you've got the mirror there, and you kind of feel the brush in your mouth and really noticing the sensation of the water in there and the bubbles forming and the brush on my gums, and just trying to be really kind of specific, and just kind of bringing in this being so mindful as much as I could, with that one brushing my teeth thing. And then And then we tried to expand that to different moments. So then 3 times a day, I think we were told to kind of just sit apart and do this breathing technique. And so when I was working in the shop, I would just go into the toilet and turn the light out, so it was totally dark and I had no distractions. And then I would do my breathing technique. And that was just noticing the sensation through the nose, noticing the breath coming into the back of the throat, noticing the chest moving up and down as you breathe in, and the stomach rising up as you breathe in, and then the opposite when you're breathing out, and just working with that, and then expanding, how does your whole body feel right now in this present moment, and just kind of thinking, outside of yourself then. So, being aware of the space either side of you, the space above you, the space below you, the space behind you, and just really connecting with you and your surroundings. And then you've had that moment of kind of stillness, that calm, and then you go back into the world again, and just trying to expand that out into your life. So I was so into healing as fast as I could, heal, because for me it was really horrible being on medication, having had this bipolar episode. How can I be better quickly? That was my thing. So then I would try and put it into my every step. So when I could remember it, and when I thought of it, when I was walking to work or something, I'd be like, ooh, what does the sole of my foot feel like as I touch the ground when I'm walking? And with these shoes on, what does it feel like? And the rhythm of my walk, and feeling that, and when I'm eating, maybe closing my eyes and really noticing the food, and how does it taste, and how does it feel in my mouth, and when I swallow, what's it like, and when it's in my tummy, how does it feel, and just kind of expanding it out in these different activities that you do within your day. And the same with when you come across another person in your life, that you're really aware of that person, you're really engaged with that person, you're really looking into their eyes and taking in what they're saying, and you're not kind of half thinking about what's going on in here and like, oh yeah, kind of half in the conversation, half not. That's not mindfulness. So for me, the course was maybe about 8 weeks, 10 weeks long, and I would go once a week to Oxford. It was quite far for me, 45 minutes in the car, but it was like the first stepping stone to real kind of healing in a way that I could do it for myself. It wasn't the drugs that were healing me, it was me healing myself. I was being given the tools to heal, and I think that is key, so that you're given this kind of toolbox, this kind of backpack of things that you can bring out and use when you need to, and even when you don't need to, you just put it in your life, and you just realise that actually, oh my god, my life can be so much more rich and have so much more depth and so much more kind of just things going on that you never really noticed before, or sounds that you never even took in before, because you were so in here and so concentrated with your thoughts that you didn't even notice that bird making a beautiful song in the tree nearby. And for me, that song is so beautiful and so pure and so natural and so clear, and actually that's way more lovely than what's going on in here. Like, is this in here really that important? Can you live without that thought? Yes, I can still function without all this going on here. I can function better without all this going on up here. And so the less you have, the less thoughts you have going on here, actually the much more smooth life runs, and you can kind of live more intuitively. You can live with a lot more joy. You can live with kind of this spaciousness, because when you get rid of your thoughts like this, there's just, it literally feels like your head is bigger on the inside. It's a strange thing to say, but just this space to breathe and enjoy and to take in the beauty that surrounds you. And also, if something is going on that isn't beautiful, that maybe is more confrontational or difficult for you to handle, you have space and you feel like you have time to step back, look at it from a distance, and okay, how am I going to react? How am I going to answer that question? Or how am I going to deal with this situation? And mindfulness got me to that place. And instead of just instant reactions and just kind of going, without even really thinking, being in the present moment and having that kind of distance, but being there with it intensely in the present moment at the same time, is really key. And it enabled me to find a new way of being with people and of being more joyful with people, but also of learning how to confront in different ways and learning how to deal with different difficult situations in different ways, and how now I can feel like I can come across anything in my life and I'd find a way to deal with it. I have the confidence that I could just deal with it, whereas before I'd analyse a situation before it happens, so I think, okay, this might happen in the future. What am I going to do if this and this happens? And I'd mull over it and I'd maybe come up with 5 to 10 different options, or maybe just focus really hard on one and think, okay, if that really happens, then I'm going to do that. Then quite often, and mostly, it doesn't happen that way, does it? So then all that thinking that you've done in the past, like the day before or whenever, or even ages before, if you're really worried about a future situation, you might have been thinking about it for weeks or months, or even years sometimes, depends what's going on in your life. So it really isn't useful, because what actually happens is not the same as what you thought was going to happen. So you might as well not think it. So just come to something, or just say yes to an event that maybe in the past might have scared you. Just say yes, just go for it, just throw yourself into things. In French, lance-toi. It's like, just give yourself to it, throw yourself at it, and just see where things take you. What is scary about that? That's what panic attacks are about. You're like anxiously worrying about the future, or anxiously worrying about the present, or worrying about the past so much that it's affecting your present, or worrying about the past so much that it's going to affect your future. So yeah, I've spoken to many yoga students about thinking too much, and how women, they think less so than men, think, oh yeah, multitasking is a really great thing, we can get so much more done if we multitask, and you've got all this going on here, and I'm gonna maybe write an email at the same time as talking to someone on the phone, and maybe plan tomorrow's dinner, or I don't know, whatever it might be. Actually, are you doing any of those things fully and with complete engagement? No, you can't be totally engaged in one thing if you're in 4 different places with your body and your mind at that point in time. So what I do now is I don't think about mindfulness, because now it's become part of my life. Sometimes I forget to be mindful and I bring myself back. And it's about remembering to bring yourself back and snap into it again. And because I've been working on it for 5 years, and more than that because of yoga, I can do that quite easily now. But for me, bringing the focus on what's going on in my life at that time is so much more enriching and so much better for the people around me and for my life and for my future. So if you've never tried mindfulness and you've never tried yoga and you've never tried meditation, do it. It will change your life, believe me. and I hope this little talk has explained in some way how it came about that you can improve your life by doing it. Subscribe, press the like button. Thank you very much.